Next up, performing fifth in the first semi-final of Eurovision 2023 on the 9th of May, we will have Portugal. And Portugal will be represented by Mimicat after her triumphant win at Festival de Canção. She was the favorite sort of going into the selection, and she basically walked the televote, which was fantastic. But yeah, so her song that she will be performing is Ai Coração. So, Janek, what do you think of Mimicat's entry for Eurovision this year?
So, Ai Coração, I think when the songs first came out, I think everyone kind of didn't acknowledge Ai Coração. I thought, like, at first glance, not a lot of people were talking about the song. I think a lot of people were focusing on Claudia Pascual, who else was Barbara Tinoco, and everyone was like focusing on like the attorneys. And I thought, everyone knows Bruno from from Twitter. I kind of was looking at his account at some point, saying how the Portuguese people were reacting to songs, and I think there was one point in time that everyone suddenly in Portugal was saying, "Hey, Ai Coração is something that we want to send," and it started becoming this song that was going to be the favorite coming to the Festival de Canção, and I thought it also became my favorite of the selection, and the performance just stamped on it and said, "This is ready, go with it." And it is my another song in my top 10. I don't remember exactly what place. I think around like 10th to 8th. I think I don't remember. But yeah, I really love this, and I'm really happy for Mimica because she said that there was just one point in her life that said that she is done with music, and she didn't have the funds and strength to continue doing music. And this opportunity to take part in Eurovision is something for her, and I'm that for her because she is doing pre-parties, and Portuguese representatives don't usually do Portuguese pre-parties, and I'm really happy for her because she's getting that Eurovision experience, and I'm really excited for Portugal. I think first part is looking at which songs are surrounded by her. I think she's easily going to the final. And I could even say that this has potential to do well as well. I don't know if top 10, maybe lower parts of the top 10, and 11th, 15th, maybe that's how she will do. But still, Ai Coração is amazing. I was expecting it to win, but the results for Festival Canção were really weird this year, especially the semi-final results. I think she finished like 4th in the semi, right? Or 3rd. I remember Claudia winning that semi because of
yeah, because of the fans. Because like again, it was like the case of like, oh my god, she's back. I think she came second or third.
Second, third, yeah. I think. And then comes the final. She's sweeping everything. Like, I also wasn't expecting Avesta to do that as well. I thought people would be skeptical because like Avesta brings back Osiris kind of vibes as well. But I think Ai Coração was the best choice for Portugal in this particular semi. If they were in semi 2, I would say there was a lot of choices that were more bold. A lot of people were talking about like songs like Claudia, Ivandro, You Can Wake Up, Charlie Brown, even though I still don't understand the hype about that. You Can't Win, Charlie Brown, right? That's band. Sorry. I thought that this kind of sound and Avesta even Bandua, but Bandua flopped so hard in the semi, which I can understand looking at the stagings. But I like Bandua, so I'm mostly sad as well. Sunny and Nashi Maria for the kind of songs would be much bolder to send if they were in the second semi-final. But I Coração, I think, was the only song that could have gotten the chance to do well in the first semi, and I really hope they could qualify because that performance was amazing in the grand final, and stick to the dress in the final, the semi.
I don't know. I think I looking back on it, I wasn't a fan of the semi-final dress. I do prefer the final one. I think it was a little bit better.
I said the final one. So stick to the final one instead of the semi one.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, definitely. It's hard to say. So basically, if you've watched our Festival de Canção recap, you'll know that this was not my favorite going into the selection, mostly because cabaret, burlesque sort of musical theater music doesn't really strike a chord with me. It doesn't really feel like something that I can really get behind. But since it's been selected, and kind of comparing it to some of the other songs that are competing, this has really started to improve for me. It's just now outside my top 10, and for the most part that is down to the performance. Yeah, so it's down to the live performance. That's the reason why she's gotten up so high, because she can sell the hell out of this song. Like, she knows where to go, she knows the right kind of mood to hit it with, she knows like her camera angle, she knows like, she can sell this song, like it couldn't be someone else's, like you couldn't see Claudia singing a song like this, you couldn't see Maro singing a song like this, like it's so distinctively Mimicat, which is fantastic. It does also have a little bit of the traditional elements in there with a coimbra Portuguese guitar, which is fantastic. And it's just so hard to pinpoint with Portugal because they are so dead set on this, like, showing off. You're like, we are doing what we want to do, and that's it, And for Maro and for the Black Mamba, that's fantastic. Like, it worked really well for them. But then Conan didn't really work. Neither did Claudia, as sad as that was. So it's hard to kind of say on what side that could, like, Mimicat could fall on. I'd personally like to think it will kind of just edge in towards like qualifying, and I think it will. I think it has the possibility to do quite well, I think, in the semi-final. But once we get into the final, I think depending on where it gets put, I do think it could struggle. And that's not to say there could be a shock, and we might end up seeing Portugal getting in like a top 5 or something like that. But just traditionally with these kind of musical theater or kind of Broadway kind of songs, it's harder to kind of say where it could end up. And I'm intrigued to see what kind of ideas they're going to bring from the staging in Festival de Canção to the thing in Liverpool, because they had some good ideas, but I do think it could have been tweaked a little bit better. So fingers crossed they might kind of, pick some new elements and kind of go in from that, just to show a little bit more versatility. I mean, Portugal has been really good in terms of like improving their staging qualities recently. I mean, Maro's, like, instead of sort of having it being a semicircle, it was more of a closed off thing, but it showed the intimacy of the song. Compared that to the Black Mamba, where it was just kind of lights in the background before in Festival de Canção, but then this time they had like the whole background, and they had it in the black and white, and then it kind of turned into the whole thing. They're perfecting their staging skills.
The staging carried the song for overall.
Yeah. So it's great to see that RTP know what they're doing in terms of getting the song to a whole new level. So fingers crossed they might be able to like get that bit up for I Coração. And it's also a really great opportunity for artists in Portugal, because obviously this was the first time that a winner from the open call for Festival de Canção won. So hopefully this will inspire some more artists that have been invited by RTP to kind of compete, because again, Portugal takes risks a lot of the time and it's paying off for them. So we might as well sort of like to see that kind of streak carry on.